Hi YouTube, my name is Emily. This is kind of the introductory video to my YouTube channel, which this is. And this YouTube is kind of like a place for family, friends, and anybody else who wants to watch to catch up on my life and what's going on. It's about the life of a Californian, me, living in France as a teaching assistant and as an au pair. I live in a village or a town just outside of Versailles, very close to the chateau. I actually teach on the main road that leads to the castle. So I teach there, and the city is also not that far away from Paris, so it's kind of nice to be able to be very close to both. If anybody wants to know about how to become a au pair, sadly I cannot help you because the family that I work for kind of fell into my lap. I was here in 2009, 2010 as a study abroad student and as a teaching assistant then. And I happened to babysit for the family that I now work for. They lived in Versailles and then they moved out of the city and they needed like a full-time nanny. And I was looking to come back to France, but I needed like a reason to come back and a place to live. And they were like, coming back, and I applied to the teaching program so I could get paid while I was here. So I got it. Praise the Lord, it's awesome that I got it. I'm really excited. So I know a little bit more about the teaching program. Don't quote me as an expert at all on anything. I'm just giving you my experience. I have a degree in French, but don't quote me as a French expert because obviously I am not, it's not my native language, so, I still make mistakes all the time. And funny thing is that the French think I speak Quebecois, which is Canadian French. And I'm from California, so that's just really funny. I have Canadian friends, so maybe that's why. But it's just very funny because they don't think I'm American; they think I'm French Canadian. So don't quote me on anything that I say because I'm only giving you my experience as a teaching assistant and my experience in France. I have applied for the teaching program twice now. So I kind of know how it goes and how everything is. So if you ever have any questions about that, like what kind of recommendations you should do, what kind of letter you should write as your application, any of that kind of stuff, I know that. I also know on this side how to get a bank account, how to get a cell phone contract, what papers you need for your carte de séjour, all that kind of stuff. But I only really know the Paris area and then the area I live in now. So I don't really know the rest of France very well. I've traveled there, but I've never lived there. But yeah, so this channel is going to kind of be about my adventures in France, because if you have ever been to France or have lived in France, or if you've ever known anybody who's lived in France, love them, but they do things a little bit differently than we do in California or in the U.S. in general. It is also a little bit harder because it's not your native language when you do it here. So, like, for example, you have been taught to ask one way, but then they want you to ask another, so you have to, like, dig through all of your French vocabulary to try and ask it, and it's an adventure, and that's how I look at everything when I do it in France. I look at it as an adventure, and I look at when I go somewhere, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on an adventure to get something done today, because then when it doesn't get done, which most of the time it doesn't get done, I might just say, look at that adventure, I went on today. I learned a little bit about, a different way to ask for something, or I learned what not to do when going somewhere. So it's really exciting. So hopefully you guys will stick around and watch my adventures here in France as a teaching assistant and as an au pair. Thanks for watching, and talk to you again soon. Bye.